Alright boys, welcome back to another video. Swaggy here. Tonight we're going to be reacting to the Golden State Warriors 118 to 112 victory over the Boston Celtics. The Celtics were undefeated at home coming into this game. They were 7-1 overall. There was a lot of criticism for the Warriors, believe it or not, right? It's ridiculous. But haters were saying that, oh, this team hasn't beaten a good team all year. Well, they just beat the defending champions in their own building, and they did it in a massive way. The defense was terrific tonight. I understand they gave up 112 points. Not like that's 96 points, right? But when you hold the Celtics to 42.2%, you're doing something right. You're doing something special. I don't think there's been a team all year that's clamped up the Celtics like this. You got to remember, this is one of the most offensive, heavy firepower teams we've seen in the history of the game, and the Warriors just completely neutralized them. Now, Tatum had like 17 in the third quarter. He had 32 overall. Derek White had 26. So these guys still did their thing, but just from a consistent standpoint, they weren't able to. The Warriors got after them, they attacked them, and they won this game with their defense. Now, don't get me wrong. Again, the Warriors scored 118. They shot 41.2% from three, 83.3% from the free throw line. But the Warriors are definitely a better defensive team than offensive team, just like they were when they won the championship back in 2021-22. So if the Warriors want to continue to be at the top of the West right now, they're number 2. And the only reason they're number 2 is because the Thunder are 7-0. They haven't lost. If they want to continue to do that, they're going to have to defend like this. That's why you fall behind 7 in the fourth quarter. Normally teams get put away by the Celtics, but the Warriors didn't because they were resilient. Steph Curry especially led the way. I mean, Steph, he's definitely not known for his defense. He's led the league in steals before. We know he's a guy who's going to give it his all on that side of the ball. But Steph in this one, he ended up getting 4 steals. It was a +7 overall. He also did a great job on the boards with 7 of them, right? I mean, Steph is truly one of the best rebounding guards in the league. I was impressed with him, man. He goes and gives you 27 points on 8 of 17 shooting, 7 of 7 from the free throw line. Steph hasn't missed a free throw all year. Hopefully I don't jinx him the next game, of course, against Cleveland. 4 of 9 from 3. Great game for him. I mean, the way Steph moved without the ball, he goes and gets you 27. It feels like he barely even touches the basketball. Whenever he does, it's a shot, right, or a quick pass. I'm loving what I'm seeing out of Curry. I'm loving what I'm seeing as well out of the young guys. Moses Moody had 9 points at a buzzer beater, of course, to end the first half. Attacking the board off of his miss and going up with it. 6 rebounds in total. Good job by Moody, 13 minutes in the start. Same thing with Jonathan Kuminga, 10 points in 18 minutes, 4 boards and an assist. When you're a starter and you get moved to the bench, especially as a young guy, that has to be a little bit deflating, but Kuminga's just gotten only better. And another young guy that I thought played very well, if I'm being completely honest with you guys, was Trayce Jackson-Davis. Now, he was 4 of 6 from the field, 8 points. Yes, he didn't finish out the game. He started it. But you have to realize that the way that this guy just gets efficient shots is exactly what the Warriors need. He leads the league right now in field goal percentage, especially, the threes aren't always going to be falling. The Warriors did shoot it over 41% in this one, but there was a couple of stretches this game where the shots weren't falling, and just to get the easy ones is so huge. Same thing with Kevon Looney, right, on the flip side. So you go from a second-year player to a veteran. Looney was 3 of 5 from the field, 6 points, 10 boards. I'm pretty sure all 6 of his points were in the fourth quarter. Maybe like 2 weren't, but I mean, it just seemed like it was timely bucket after timely bucket, especially Steph missed a layup, of course, and he's just cleaning it up. Big time buckets, man. It's very similar to Jackson Davis. These guys are getting efficient looks off of misses, and that's huge too, especially when a guy's driving and they have 2 defenders and they draw them, and then you're able to clean it up. So good job by these big men, Looney and Jackson Davis. There's always going to be talks about who's finishing the game, who's starting it. We both know, I guess we all know to this point, everyone that's listening to this point, that whoever does finish the game, whoever starts it, is going to be able to get the job done. Loving what I'm seeing out of these guys, especially considering that the Warriors did go after, of course, Lauri Markkanen in the offseason, and they ultimately didn't get him. A large reason was because they weren't willing to trade Brandon Mazemski, who did not play in this game. So neither did, I'm looking at, of course, the guy, De'Anthony Melton, right? He hasn't played in a couple of games. I'm excited to get him back too. Of course, he's a big-time role player. Defense, playmaking, shooting. He has no hesitation as well. He's going to be a huge addition to this team. I really liked him in the offseason. Hopefully he can come back soon. Podziemski as well is a huge-time role player for the Warriors. He just does a little bit of everything. He hasn't been efficient this year. I believe he's at 38% at the top of my head. But he's a guy that just does all of the little things and makes those big-time plays. He was clutch, of course, against the Rockets down the stretch. Same thing with Jonathan Kuminga. So we'll have to wait and see next game. The Warriors are going to need all the help they can get. They have a really tough schedule coming up. Started with the Celtics, and then next up they've got the Cavs, who are 8-0, Thunder, who are 7-0, and then Dallas it's going to be tough, right? So we're talking about some really, really good NBA contenders this season. But in terms of the rest of the game, Andrew Wiggins, 6 of 14. He had 16 points plus 8, 2 boards. Wiggins did a good job, of course, of down the stretch just knocking down his free throws, but also that step back mid range was deadly. Wiggins, you can tell, is getting back to that version of 21-22 when he was an all-star. He's going to have to be the second option on the Warriors as of right now if they want to win another championship, assuming they don't make a trade. The Warriors, maybe they go out there and pull off something crazy with Mike Dunleavy. But if they just keep this roster intact, Wiggins is going to be relied on to make some plays. And he did that in this game as well. He was 0 of 3 from 3. He did make a 3, but his foot was on the line when he caught it, so it didn't count. So he didn't make a 3, obviously. But I was impressed with Wiggins, too. He's just letting the game come to him. And I'm excited about him the rest of the season. Draymond, we talked a little bit about him. Who haven't I talked about? Waters played 14 minutes, did not score. It's good to see him be a consistent part of the rotation. Will he be when, of course, the Warriors have Podziemski and Melton out there? I have no idea, but I think he should be too. I like what I've seen in the Waters. I mean, this is the second straight game where he hasn't exactly lit it up, but we know he's capable of getting hot in a hurry. Kyle Anderson's a guy that I didn't talk about in my last video that I want to talk about. 20 minutes, 3 of 4 from 3, 3 straight shots. Goes out there and gives you 5 boards, 4 assists, good defense, of course. Down the stretch, Kerr was going offense, defense favoring, of course, Anderson with that size and length that he's got. I think he's going to be a good piece for this team, especially when they need some stops down the stretch of a game. Anderson's going to be the one to deliver. We haven't talked about Buddy Hield. We've talked a lot about Buddy Hield. I'm sure every Warriors video you guys click on is going to talk about Buddy Hield. 29 minutes, and rightfully so, obviously. Plus 20, 16 points. He came into this game shooting over 50% from 3. And he goes above his average by shooting 4 of 7. I mean, Hield has been terrific. 6 boards. He also had a block shot. Of course, he blocked Neemias Queta, the starting center for the Celtics. Very good block. And then last but certainly not least, Gary Payton II was amazing. Plus 7, 18 minutes, 6 points, 3 boards. 2 blocks and a steal, blocked a 3-point shot, diving on loose balls. Of course, Steve Kerr called the timeout with about 4 minutes remaining. I mean, this Warriors bench is the best in basketball. I mean, there's just no bench in the league that's bringing out Buddy Hield, who's giving you over 20 a game on 50% from 3. John Kuminga, who's going to be a star, I believe, someday in this league. I get that the Warriors didn't pick up his rookie scale, but I think a lot of that is just they're not sure of his fit. How does he fit with his team? But just from an overall ability, upside-wise, I think Kuminga has everything. He's also shooting the 3-ball confidently there, right on cue. 2 of 3 from 3. He's no longer hesitating. He's walking right into it and shooting it with confidence. Loving what I'm seeing out of him. Kyle Anderson is really one of the best role players in the league. Kevon Looney, championship-level center, would start for many teams. Gary Payton II, a winner. A lot of these guys are just winners. They make plays. And in terms of winning a championship, they've got the guys that you want. Waters is a lethal shooter. Man, this Warriors team is so fun. Honestly, I do want them to go out there at the deadline eventually when that comes and make a trade, assuming they continue this up. But at the same time, if you're 7-1, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? I mean, this Warriors team has a lot of chemistry. They play together. Maybe they should just keep it intact, too, because think about it. They've got their picks. They've got a lot of picks, young players. They still got Steph, superstar, right? A guy who's won multiple MVPs and championships, finals MVP. Should have 2 finals MVPs, 22, obviously, that season where Iggy got it. Love me some Iggy, but come on, bro.